word Launchpad kind of resonated with a lot of you guys and kind of made you feel like this is a platform that's here to help you and here to kind of propel you forward into your future. But on the flip side, some of the language around in other statements, like, which one were you calling out? You were saying like overbearing and stressful. Those kinds of terms are a little too harsh. What kind of, I'm curious, like, what's the balance here between language that's like interesting and intriguing and like strikes kind of an emotional chord with you versus language that's like forced and try hard, like that, like you were saying, badass, it kind of comes off as forced and inauthentic. Like, what's that balance between the terms that are like motivating and inspiring to you versus ones that are a little bit too try hard?
I would say like anything that you're using in like common conversation. Like, I don't know, like when's the last time you used like paralyzed in like a normal conversation, or like overbearing, like other than like when you're like complaining about like your mom or something, you know? Like, I feel like sticking with like very colloquial terms is probably like a good plan, honestly.
Yeah. No, I get that. Cool. All right. So I know that we are just about out of time, and I'm sure you guys have tons of work and other things to get on to, so I don't want to keep you guys too long, but your responses to those statements was seriously so helpful. Before we wrap up, I'm curious if you guys want to just quickly go around, and you've already been doing an amazing job of this throughout, but just before we all sign off, if you guys could go around and share maybe one piece of advice or one thing that you'd like to see in the future of Money Girls, because, you know, of course, this is why we did this. They are so curious to hear from you guys and get your direct advice. So you have their ears. One last piece of advice, and then we can part ways.
I would just definitely think that I would say, like, to be, like, cognizant of how their language is coming off. Just because I think that was something that, like, if, like, I hadn't known Madison and, like, wanted to help her out because, like, we're friends, I honestly probably wouldn't have, like, stayed interested in Money Girls because of, like, the language. Yeah, I just would have felt it was, like, forced.
Got it. Okay. And Olivia, what about you? What's your one last piece of advice for them and their future?
I guess I would say to start, I don't know, like I met with Judy, not Judy on the call, but Judy from Money Girls over the summer, and hearing her story and why she chose to create this and why she saw a need for it was super empowering and easy to connect with. And I would just, I guess my piece of advice would sort of to go back to that or publicize that a little bit more, because the whole platform is really inspiring, but it does seem like they're trying to do a lot. Like when you send out the email that says, in the future, we want to create an app and we want to make a credit card and we want to do all of this stuff. Like it's very cool, but maybe focus more on the like root, if that makes sense. I don't know if that, like, it's cool that they want to do so much, and I think that's great, and I think that people will connect with that as seeing more opportunities, but there's a balance between that and making it seem like you're trying to do everything and fix everything, if that makes sense.
Got it. Okay. And why did you feel like, and then we'll hear from Judy, but just one quick follow-up. Why did you feel like...
Sorry, I actually do have to go because I have to run to class right now, but thank you for this.
Okay. Thank you so much. We really appreciate you taking time.
Yeah, of course.
Okay. I'll hear from Judy first about the last piece of advice, and then Olivia, if you have another second, I'll come back to you.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of anything like other than I've already said. But I guess this is like more of a very concrete like suggestion. So like I basically only look at the newsletter, and that's like my major source of information from Money Girls. And I feel like it would be interesting to have, for example, like a short interview with someone and then have that for the content of one of the newsletters, or have one newsletter be like a recap of everything, because I kind of started following it since the very beginning of Money Girls, like honestly, and I started following it through the first, like from the very first newsletter, and I see that there is a progression from very, very basic things to now things are a little bit more complicated. But say if you're like a first subscriber, or you like just started, like it would be cool, like maybe like to have more structure, like for example, the first month or every month have like a topic. So like every however long, like I think it's weekly newsletters if I'm not wrong, but like every single month is dedicated to one topic, and then every few months or every few whatever the interval is, like recap everything, just engage the audience a little bit more and to for them to retain the information.
Yeah. Got it. I think that's a really good point, that like you feel like you've been learning with them as you go, but like somebody else that might have just joined, it almost might feel to them like they're jumping in the middle. So that's a really point.
Yeah, I agree. Like all of a sudden you're like credit scores, and it's like, oh wait, like there's all the other things before that. So yeah, that would be my advice.
Okay, cool. Well, thank you guys so much. And I appreciate you staying on a few minutes extra. This was so helpful and so valuable. So we really appreciate you taking the time to share all of your feedback with us, and your ideas for Money Girls' future. So have a great rest of your night, and please don't hesitate to reach out if you have any other questions for us after we're done here tonight.
Thank you. Did you have
Thank you so much.
Oh, sorry, what was that?
Did you have another question about what I said about Judy, or are you good?
Oh, I was just going to say, like, what specifically was it about her story that kind of struck a chord with you and felt, you know, inspiring or really resonated with you?
I guess it was when she told the story about how she was working in the Silicon Valley, and how majority of women that she met that were even like in the C-suite still felt like they needed a man, or like whether that's their dad or husband or partner or boyfriend, whatever, or just like friend, to come with them when they were having any sort of like money related conversations, like to the bank or with investment groups or things like that. And the fact that she actually knew people like that, I connected with. And just because like living in the Bay Area, I'm constantly surrounded with strong women and who I never would like needed help from anybody. But hearing that, I think sort of made the whole sort of issue and topic and like platform or like goal of Money Girls more tangible for me and more relatable.
Got it. No, that's really helpful. I'm glad you stayed on to share that extra story, because that was really, that's helpful to know why it really clicked with you and made you interested in joining.
And one thing about the social media that I just thought about, if you guys did videos, I know that's probably along the way as you grow, but like having the resources to do that. But it, like if there was a video on the front page or like of Facebook, or I don't use Facebook actually, like of the web page or whatever of Judy like telling her story or something like that, like I think that'd be super cool. I think videos are something I connect with, but that's just me.
Got it.
Okay.
Cool. Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much. I really appreciate your time and for staying on extra. So thank you guys, and have an amazing rest of your night.
Thanks, you too.
Okay.